You own a business? You're on a journey. You own a business in 2022? Wow Business knows that journey just got a whole lot more interesting. You might close a sale like this. Or like this. And you need to connect with your team.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Is my camera on? Can you hear me? Can everybody go on mute?
Without even leaving home. And if you're excited to keep your business moving, head to switch-to-wowbusiness.com to learn about fast internet speeds, 24/7 US-based support, a price lock guarantee, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and an offer you don't want to miss.
For a limited time, fall into savings with 1 gig of business internet for the incredibly low price of only $99.99. We'll even throw in 4 months of free service, free installation, and a free modem to help make the switch easier. Learn more at switch-to-wowbusiness.com.
Offer for new customers with a 2-year agreement subject to change. Prices do not include taxes, fees, and equipment charges. Restrictions apply. Switch to wowbusiness.com.
For the love of fall, Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes and pumpkin cream cold brews are back. Smooth espresso dashed with pumpkin pie spice and velvety whipped cream. Or cold brew topped with pumpkin cream cold foam fit for the season. Your pumpkin awaits. Order today in the Starbucks app.
It didn't listen to me. It walked out of the thicket. It turned around and looked at me.
They looked up, and in this tree, there was a monkey man. And the monkey man jumped down out of the tree and started running away.
And suddenly, they're right in front of the car. He slams on the brakes and manages to stop, and he's skidding because it's like quite, gravelly. And literally for about a second and a half, they just stood there because they don't know where to go, and you tell them panicking. They're like nothing, and their face is like twitching.
Welcome back to Bigfoot Society, a podcast where we focus on cryptids, the strange, and the unexplained of this world. If you've got a story or something weird to share, send an email over to me at bigfootsociety@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support this show, head on over to patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society. And now, on with the show. All right, Bigfoot Society, I've got the privilege of talking to Mr. Jonathan Dodd today. He's the guy that you have probably seen all over social media. I mean, this guy is making crazy stuff. I mean, he's the Van Meter Visitor Festival shirt I had this year, which people loved, the Swoopomania shirt. Dude.
Yes.
We didn't even have to go back and forth.
Man.
I was like, dude, I have an idea. I literally tried to do the craziest idea, and I was trying to stump you. And like, you knocked it out of the park, dude. I was like, it's like Bigfoot as Macho Man Randy Savage, and there's like the Van Meter Visitor as the Ultimate Warrior, and it's just like this old school WWF poster. People were digging it, dude. So
I'm glad. That's awesome. That was one of my favorite projects, and I know you contacted me like it was like 8 months or something before you could even say anything about it, like before you could drop it. And I was like, man, how am I going to wait this long to talk about Squatcho Man?
I know, right? I think my second, I mean, I have a lot of different favorites of stuff that you've done. I think the second favorite I have is the Cryptids crossing the Delaware is just amazing. And
that one does very well for me at festivals,
as it should.
And that was actually, I would be remiss to not mention, that was the brainchild of Sarah Snallygaster. Mm-hmm. So she approached me about it. She was like, we're going to do Cryptids crossing the Delaware. And I was like, that's an awesome idea. So I did it. And then it kind of exploded at CryptidCon last year. Like, everybody was walking around with it. And I was just like, it made me feel so good.
Dude, so people are like picking up prints and all that stuff. And
yeah.
I love it. I mean, I have a huge version of it. Once I get a studio set up in the future, I mean, it's a canvas. It's going on the wall, so it's going to be great, dude. I'm pumped.
You need like an ornate golden frame for it.
Oh my God. Yeah. My wife was saying that actually. She's like, you need to have an amazing frame for this, not just like the canvas. It has to be in a frame. So as people probably have already picked up, so your name is Jonathan Dodd. You are, I would say, there's many great cryptid themed artists in the community right now, but I would say if someone is thinking of cryptid art, your name is going to come up, or it should. And you're making just amazing Bigfoot photos. You're parodies. You're doing all sorts of parody cryptid work, but also you're getting into your work is starting to get into things like small town monsters documentaries, and which I really love. That they're using your artwork to flesh out the stories that they're telling, which is such a cool thing.
Yeah, that's been so much fun to do, and the cool thing about Small Town Monsters too is they're there to be creative. So they'll give me like an outline or a clip or something like that and say, go wild.
Wow.
So I like very little well, there's definitely direction, but they let me kind of, use my creativity to bring it to life. And I think that having worked with some more like stringent types as well, like I prefer, that freedom that Small Town Monsters gives me all the time. So they're fantastic to work with. I love everybody over there.
Oh yeah. Great team for sure. It's a perfect fit for you to be partnering with them at this time. Let's take a little step back. So tell me, what was it? What came first? Was it the love for cryptids or the love for art? Tell me that.
It was definitely art came first. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been drawing. I've told this story a couple times before, but my dad worked at a print shop, or he ran a print shop for like 30 years.
Wow. And
he would bring home these just like giant reams of white paper pads, and we would set them out on the kitchen table, and we'd pull out the colored pencils, the markers, the paint brushes, and we would just go crazy, like having art night basically. And my dad was also a big comic book fan, so he had like tons of comic books that we could I could sit with like Thor and Captain America and Spider-Man and just like sit there and draw from the panels.
Awesome.
So that's kind of like how it all started for me, is art night with the family.
Do you have a like a comic book artist or an artist that you look up to that's been like a inspiration for you over the years in your style or anything like that?
Well, definitely like Jack Kirby.
Okay.
He did Captain America, Thor, all the classic Marvel guys. Like that artwork was always like super dynamic because he would have like that forced perspective and like the brilliant colors and stuff like that. So I think that at an early age was like very attractive to me. And so I think I can vividly remember sitting at the kitchen table drawing Captain America in that that pose where he's got the shield like coming right at you. And I that's classic. So yeah, that's probably he would probably be my number one influence.
That's awesome. Oh man, Jack Kirby stuff. I mean, you can't get much better than that for sure when it comes to that classic superhero stuff. Let's talk about, some people, they're going to say, what got me into cryptids was like In Search Of or Monster Quest. But like, was there a certain thing that you can remember getting yourself into cryptids?
Well, for me, it really started at a very early age with like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. I can remember just like going into my elementary school library, and just, I mean, I knew the route to get to, you know, the cryptid books and the monster books. And so, I mean, there's, you know, those books definitely like expanded my imagination as a little kid. And I think just, you know, the fact that there were these monsters in the modern day that people were seeing just like blew my mind. Yeah, so I mean, I think the cryptid stuff really started very, very early for me, and then it kind of took a hiatus for a while, and then now is like really hyped up.
That story is familiar to me as well, where it's like, as a little kid, you're like, this is awesome, and then you're like, and then something kickstarts it again. Was there a certain thing that kickstarted it again when you got a little bit past the I want to be cool in high school or whatever?
Well, I was never really concerned about being cool.
Fair enough.
Like, I've always been a weirdo. I may look kind of normal because I have a job and stuff, and I have to look normal. But like, I'm a total weirdo.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think really podcasts, I think, really like brought me back into it. There was a point where I was commuting, you know, an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours a day, both ways, and needed to, you know, fill my time in the car with something. So I just kind of gravitated first towards music and then towards podcasting. And when I heard my first Sasquatch Chronicles podcast, I was hooked.
Nice.
Like, hooked hard. And so, I mean, you know, with the 2 hours in the car, you know, you can blow through a couple Sasquatch Chronicles, and then, you know, it kind of blossoms from there, which I'm sure you're familiar with. You know, you start with that, and then you go to that, and then you hear about another one, and then it's just, it's a constant thing, and it's just like, there's just so much out there now. It's insane.
It's nuts, dude.
There's no way to listen to all of it.
You could never do it because...
Ever.
It seems like there's a new cryptid podcast or something related to it being started every other week, which is amazing. And guys, keep doing it, because the more that this gets out into the world universe, like, the more we're going to figure out. So everyone, keep doing it. You're absolutely right. It's crazy. Like, you think about it, a few years ago, it was not like this. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, even 2 years ago, it wasn't like this.
Yeah, no.
I think. I mean, the pandemic definitely, like, I think spurred a lot of people on to create things and like get themselves out there. Was that your thing too? Like, were you trying to? I think I remember you saying something about that before.
So
was that the antithesis of Bigfoot Society?
It would have. So how it worked was, I started it in 2019 because I got involved with STM production with my buddy Andrew, Terror in the Skies. But the thing is that it would have died unless I had been like inside and been, oh, what do I do? Oh, wait, there's this podcast thing. Oh, wait, everyone else is inside. And I wouldn't have gotten half the interviews I would have gotten if everyone else would have been like bored out of their mind and stuck inside. It's just how it worked, you know? So the creative state of the world would be radically different, I think, if there had not been that pandemic. I mean, just think of all the stuff that would not exist today. Holy mackerel, dude. It'd be totally different. There'd be so many podcasts that wouldn't exist. It's crazy. But hey, it is what it is.
And like I was saying, I'm in the same boat because I picked up the iPad. I decided to pick up the iPad and start playing with it during the pandemic. We were stuck inside, and I didn't have a studio space anymore. So I was kind of looking for that creative outlet that I had, you know, with, you know, canvases and brushes, but needed it to be on a very small scale, just because of the situation that I was in. So I picked up the iPad, downloaded Procreate for the iPad, and just kind of went from there. And yeah, I mean, I love that medium now. Like it's my go-to medium now, and it's the reason why I started doing the cryptid stuff. Is I don't think if I was painting on canvas, I would be cranking out 3 or 4 big feet a day. You know,
no, probably not.
It just wouldn't happen. Yeah. The immediacy of that medium really makes it a lot easier to crank out stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite piece that a cryptid themed piece that you've done so far? I know that's a tough one to ask.
Oh, geez. Right. Yeah. I'll just go with a series because, and I did them, I guess it's been, less than 6 months ago. But it's basically, excuse me, just portraits, like face, like sort of like chest to, top of the head portraits of big feet or Sasquatches. Yes. And basically what I wanted to do with those was just show the diversity in like the descriptions. And like they're not necessarily based on, actual descriptions or anything like that. But I think some like the most interesting things about a lot of like the podcasts that I listen to are the descriptions of the faces and the builds, that they describe, and that like the hair and stuff like that. Like I really love to listen to these very, intricate descriptions of Sasquatches. So that's what I was trying to capture with that, was just how different they could look.
Oh, wow.
Like one could look a little bit more, animalistic. One could look a little bit more human, and then just kind of like playing with those different aspects.
So when you're creating you're drawing your different versions of Bigfoot, you're actually using some of these descriptive reports from different podcasts to give you inspiration, or?
I think it's more just like in my head. I have before done that. I don't know that I've like put anything out there though, like saying this is from this.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, like I said, I've listened to so many podcasts about, Bigfoot encounters and descriptions. Like at this point, it's like kind of ingrained in my brain. Like I have to, I guess that's also part of the creative part. I need to get it out of my brain and somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like it's at the point where like you can't remember life before it. If that makes maybe that's just me being crazy, but I can't.
So were you like big into podcasts too? I mean, obviously you have a podcast, but were you big into it as well? Like just consuming like I was, or?
I'm trying to remember. There was. I'm not gonna name names for a reason, and it'll become evident. There was a podcast I would listen to. I would be constantly like, I would ask them a different question, or I'm not liking the type of question you're asking. So. I wouldn't have the time to listen to tons of podcasts, but I did listen to a few. This would be like 2018, 2019, and all great podcasts, but that motivated me. I was like, oh, well, no one's saying you can't do one, so why don't you just do it, and it kind of half went from there.
No,
so.
I've definitely been in that situation too, like just like yelling at my radio, like, why, why aren't you asking this? Like, this is, this would be so much more interesting than, that, because, they've talked about that on a million podcasts. Why wouldn't you go down this rabbit hole instead of this one?
Yeah. I know.
I understand that.
And always hoping that I am not doing that. But yeah, it's going to happen.
Dude, you have such a great podcast. I think I've listened to all of your episodes.
Wow, thank you.
Definitely a big fan of Bigfoot Society for sure.
You have
do great work.
definitely helped out. Jonathan's been involved with multiple projects over the years. I think I was trying to think of like the first thing I noticed of yours, and it must have been a Night Callers thing you did, because you used to be like the artist for Lauren for Night Callers, and like you would primarily do that, right?
Yeah, she was like one of excuse me. She was like one of the first people to like contact me to do Bigfoot, commission Bigfoot stuff. Her and Matt Knapp of Bigfoot Crossroads. Yep. They both were like instrumental in like kind of introducing me into that whole community.
Membership fees apply after free trial. Cancel anytime.
Can I be real for a second? That goal you have to exercise and eat better, you really can do it, but nobody is going to do it for you. And nobody has to, because you can do it if you have the right tools and a community that cares about helping you get results. And that's us, Beachbody. It's as convenient as your TV or laptop, but you need to decide that you're worth it. Let us help you succeed. Here's how. Go to beachbody.com to claim your free membership and start feeling great.
Right now, Amazon is offering some amazing extra perks that come with a job offer. If you start a warehouse job, you can get a $1,000 sign-on bonus. That means you start earning a paycheck right away, plus you get extra cash to use before the holidays. Applying is so easy, you don't even need an interview. It's never been so rewarding to start an hourly job that's close to home. So what are you waiting for? To join the team today, visit amazon.com/sign-on bonus. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
And because of my relationships with them, they're the type of people that, will, just throw your name out there and throw your name out there. Mm-hmm. And, I still get people emailing me like, hey, Lauren Smith said that you might be able to do this for me. Like, would you be able to do that? So, so like those early relationships were like super vital for me.
That's probably the number one thing that someone can take away from this is the relationships that you make. I mean, it's the most important thing you can do, and it'll make or break what you're trying to do. I mean,
especially as an artist,
relationships. Yeah.
As an artist, I mean, it's not all sitting in a studio drawing. I mean, you have to put yourself out there a lot. And that's why I started doing like the cryptid events. Yes. And started doing like podcast stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm an introvert. Like I'm totally an introverted person. So like going out and like meeting people and like and talking about myself is like,
I get it, dude.
It's like, it's difficult, dude. Like,
yep.
So, I mean, but you have to be able to do that or you're not going to get any more work. You'll just kind of fall off the radar.
What was the first vending experience that you had?
First vending experience was last year's, not this past one, but the one before that, the very first Cryptid Bash.
Oh, wow.
So
what
the Moth Boys event.
Just jump right into the live pool. That's crazy.
Yeah. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like that was their first ever event and it went off without a hitch. I mean, Mothboy Mike would probably tell you, there was this went wrong and this went wrong, right. But for the most part, it was amazing. It was fantastic.
I haven't heard anything bad about any of their events ever. Yeah.
No, yeah. And this past year was great as well. The turnout that they had for both of the events were phenomenal. I mean, this is a small mountain town. I mean, well, I guess, it's a school town, sure. It's a college town, but, it's a little teeny tiny town in the mountains and, 500, to 1,000 people or whatever coming through just to do like cryptid stuff is super cool.
It's awesome. It's so cool.
It was a great event. It was fantastic.
One day I'll be able to make it out there. It's on the list of like, I need to make it happen somehow. Iowa is a haul, dude. Iowa to West Virginia.
Yeah, you were asking me, I think we were messaging on Instagram. You're like, you coming to Van Meter visitor? I was like, it's like 15 hours away, dude. I don't know if I can make it.
Yeah. Not a problem. Maybe someday, but totally understandable because it's hard for me to make it to all the stuff out there unless I fly. Have you, and I half know the answer to this, but have you been able to actually go out yourself and look for cryptids?
Yes. And I'm trying to do more stuff.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to find my own area, honestly. Like that's been kind of like a goal. Because I mean, you can go out doing this stuff anywhere. Like if I've learned anything about this, there's weird stuff everywhere. And the best thing that you can do is, you know, you don't have to, like, it would be really cool if I could go out to Bluff Creek, you know, hang out with Tate and them, you know, in the woods at Bluff Creek. That'd be amazing. But that's not feasible, you know, with the wallet.
I get it.
So I feel like the best thing that you can do is just find the weird stuff around you and start educating yourself on it.
100%.
Like if that's what you're into, go do that. You don't have to fly out to California or up to Canada or whatever. I mean, you can go out looking on your own. But yeah, and I actually did get a really cool opportunity to go out with Alex Petikoff and Eli Watson and Les Odell. This was a few months ago while they were filming Beyond the Trail. And they were gracious enough to invite me out to hang out. It's not really my neck of the woods, but it was close enough where I was like, hell yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. We found some pretty interesting stuff, actually, like some rock stack type things. Like we found this one area that this is Les Odell's one of his research areas.
Okay.
And we were up in there, and the night before we couldn't find the area. It was pitch black, and the area was like so grown over from the last time he was there. We couldn't find his tape markers.
Wow.
So we were out just like, I mean, it was like, it rained the night before. So it was like super wet and squishy. It was like this marsh area. Excuse me. And, so the next day we actually went out to try to find it, and we actually did. So we went up the mountain to where he had initially found this area, and we found this, it was like a pyramid almost of rocks.
Whoa. That
were like stacked. They're big rocks too. Like, I'm not picking up 200-pound rocks and stacking them.
200-pound rocks
in a pyramid.
Really?
I mean, the bottom rock was at least 3 to 4 foot wide,
dude.
And then the rest of them stacked up. It was stacked up about maybe like 2 or 3 feet off the ground. Which, I mean, people could do that. Why you would do something like that in the middle of nowhere, like up a mountain on an overgrown mountain? Like, I mean, I don't know. Dude. I don't know why somebody would do that. Also in that area, there were, rocks that had been smashed. Like it looked like they were picked up and smashed on the ground. And they were kind of like all over the place. And then there were these trees that had sort of like these marks going up the sides. This is all in there, like claw marks? In the documentary that they put out. It looked like something had like took a tree like this and then pushed up, or either pushed up or maybe pulled down. And I mean, that could be a bear. I mean, there's bears out there doing stuff like that, I'm sure. But we noticed it was in like a line. So there was these scratches up the tree, and then you would turn, and the next tree in the line would have the same exact marks on the same side. Going, I think we found like 3 or 4 in a row that was like that. And it just seems strange. I mean, I'm 100% saying, you know, oh, it was Bigfoot, but that's a weird thing to see.
Yeah.
I feel like something that doesn't normally happen.
Dude, that.
So yeah, I mean, we had a really cool time. And of course, you know, they're really cool dudes. We got along great. I'm a camper. I love camping. Okay. So we had a lot in common. And I'd been doing like artwork for Beyond the Trail for, I guess, a year before that. So we had gotten to know each other before. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool opportunity. I'd love to get back out there with them at some point. If they're, you know, within my immediate area, I'd definitely try to make it happen again.
Heck yes, dude. Do you have a way that, you know, you talked earlier about finding the weird stuff in your area. How do you usually end up trying to find the weird stuff in your area? Any particular resources you use?
So what I've done, you know, Bigfoot speaking, I've looked at both the BFRO and the Bigfoot Mapping Project. Yeah. The app. So good. I've looked at both of those and kind of like overlaid them. I know they kind of like pull some of them. I think the Bigfoot Mapping Project pulls a little bit from BFRO and other resources.
They do.
So that would probably be a better, you know, if you're using one thing for Bigfoot stuff, I would probably say check out the Bigfoot Mapping Project. But yeah, if you're looking on there, it'll show you like pin drops of like different locations.
Oh yeah.
And if you can, you know, find an area where there's a cluster, or and then you can kind of like, you know, cross-reference that with like what, you know, like water sources or something like that. I mean, you could potentially pinpoint a pretty good area to at least go to and check out.
Oh yeah, and he even had that graphic he came out with, which was like all the Bigfoot hotspots around the U.S. I don't know if you saw that, which is like, I'm not going to go into specifics, but it's a little bit too accurate, and we're going to leave it there. But I was like, ooh, you're good with what you do, buddy. But data is data, you know, you get the right data, you can figure stuff out. So,
yeah. And I think it's really cool. I mean, you have like the different overlaps that he has on there where you can like, you know, check out like where, you know, things are in relation to like national parks or, you know, like, rivers, you know, like, cause you know, they say he always travels the creeks. You can check out the creeks and rivers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely a really cool resource. Also just researching, like going to the library. Like I feel like people don't even go to the library anymore.
No, they don't.
Go to a library. I mean, they'll just sit on their computer. I mean, there's so much at your fingertips at the computer, but also there's tons of stuff that hasn't even made it onto the computer, you know, because it's in a library. I mean, you can go to the library and get a book and find information that's not even out there.
All you got to do is find that one book from the 1800s about your town history that the info didn't get put anywhere else, and then you rediscover the story. And I mean, like that's, you know, that's the Van Meter Visitor right there. That's how that happened. You know, it's like they found an old newspaper article and boom. This is crazy. I use the Map in Black a lot too.
Oh yeah, I got one of those.
Shout out to the Map in Black.
Actually, I think I have
22 edition out now, kids. Go get one.
Heck yeah, dude! I have to get the new one.
It's good. It's good.
That thing is so cool. Actually, I don't think I've even spread it out all the way yet. I don't think I have enough room in my house.
It's huge.
I have to take it outside. But yeah, that's so cool. And that's definitely a good way to pinpoint things in your area. Which, I mean, because he's got ghost stuff on there. He's got cryptid stuff. He's got all kinds of like weird, like roadside kind of things on there. Like there's just tons of cool stuff on there. He was
selling maps at the Van Meter Visitor Festival, and I had people coming up to to me with their map and like, hey, what's the deal with this thing in the Iowa map? I was like, I never heard of that. I don't know where he's getting this stuff from. It's crazy, man. Like, you got to get a copy of it. It'll blow your mind. Jonathan, it's been crazy fun chatting with you. What are the next events that you're going to?
Let's see. November 19th and 20th, I'll be in Lexington, Kentucky at CryptiCon.
As will I. Yep.
Cool. Get to meet you for the first time in real life. That'll be cool. Dude. Hopefully we can hang out. And then,
no doubt.
Let's see. Then I think everything's pretty quiet for the winter, actually. And then things will ramp back up. I know how like Small Town Monsters is having their event in 2023.
Monster Fest, dude.
In June. Yeah, Monster Fest. I'll be there.
Yeah. I'll be there too.
Yeah, so that's as of right now, that's everything I got on the docket. So I'll probably be trying to crank out some work here pretty soon. I want to do a new series, like a new Instagram driven series. I don't know what it's going to be about yet, but I think I'm due to start cranking some more stuff out. I've been kind of quiet on social media for a little bit.
You've done some really good series over the years. I really liked your the alcohol series, like Cryptid alcohol brands.
Oh, the beer labels.
Yeah, that was really good. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
another
fun.
series would be good.
Pretty cool. It was with the beer labels that actually got me some work.
Really?
Like at Cryptid Bash, I had stickers of each one of them.
Okay.
And this lady came over and she was like, "These are really cool. I think I might give my boss a couple." So I started up a conversation with her, and she's like the marketing person or one of the marketing people at Greenbrier Valley Brewing Company.
Yeah.
And so I gave her a bunch of stickers to hand out, and then they contacted me about wanting to do the Flatwoods Monster beer.
Okay, that's cool.
So that was almost 2 years ago at this point. But I've done a bunch of work with them now. We just for the last Cryptid Bash we did the Grafton Monster beer, and they're going to be having that pretty soon.
Nice.
Distribute that one pretty soon too.
That's awesome. Oh man.
So that was just a really cool and that's why you have to, as an artist, get yourself out there into the public, because you never know who you're going to run into. You never know who's going to be there to see your work and want to put you up on something.
I love it. Oh man, I'm excited because I know that the future is going to bring even crazier things for you. I'm excited to see where your work takes you next. So,
me too.
Oh my
me too, dude.
goodness, I'm dying over here. But it's
you all right?
Yeah, just a little cough in my throat. I'm good. But dude, I appreciate talking to you. Thanks so much for hanging out. Do you mind taking a few minutes to talk about how people can keep up to date and pick up some of your shirts, artwork, all that?
Sure. So if you want to get in touch with me, probably the best way would be Instagram, and I'm at Jonathan Dodd _draws on Instagram. And then I also have a website, jonathandodddraws.com. And through my Instagram link tree, you can actually get to my TeePublic and my print shop and everything like that. So if you want to pick up a print or something like that. And then if you see something on the website or on either the website or my Instagram that you like and you want a print of, hit me up. I'd love to get everybody hooked up. So
what site supports you the most as an artist if someone purchases something from it?
Probably Imprint.
Okay. I think that's important for people to know. I mean, you can buy something off another site and it's like the artist is going to get $2, So
Yeah.
But it is what it is, I guess. But I think it's important for people to know.
I mean, if people are coming out to events, that's where you will make your money as an artist at an
Perfect,
event. Yeah. But not everybody can make it out to a Cryptid Con or something like that.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I love to hear from people. So if anybody's interested, shoot me a message.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out, Jonathan, and I will be seeing you in a month or two, dude.
I'm stoked, man.
See you then.
Thanks for having me.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Bigfoot Society. Any content provided by our guests are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone. Thank you.
You own a business? You're on a journey. You own a business in 2022? Wow Business knows that journey just got a whole lot more interesting. You might close a sale like this, or like this, and you need to connect with your team.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Is my camera on? Can you hear me? Can everybody go on mute?
Without even leaving home. And if you're excited to keep your business moving, head to switch-to-wowbusiness.com to learn about fast internet speeds, 24/7 US-based support, a price lock guarantee, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and an offer you don't want to miss.
For a limited time, fall into savings with 1 gig of business internet for the incredibly low price of only $99.99. We'll even throw in 4 months of free service, free installation, and a free modem to help make the switch easier. Learn more at switch-to-wowbusiness.com.
Offer for new customers with a 2-year agreement subject to change. Prices do not include taxes, fees, and equipment charges. Restrictions apply. Switch to wowbusiness.com.
Right now, Amazon is offering some amazing extra perks that come with a job offer. If you start a warehouse job, you can get a $1,000 sign-on bonus. That means you start earning a paycheck right away, plus you get extra cash to use before the holidays. Applying is so easy, you don't even need an interview. It's never been so rewarding to start an hourly job that's close to home. So what are you waiting for? To join the team today, visit Amazon.com/sign-on bonus. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.